Everyone, welcome back to Yo Music Matters That podcast. I'm your host, Brian. Join me today. I welcome a special guest from way up in Canada. We got Harry from the band Sacred Zone, not Danger Zone. But how are you doing today, Harry?
Hi, yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you for having me here.
No worries. And I guess which part of Canada are you hailing from?
So I'm right now I'm residing in Toronto, Ontario. So yeah, originally moved here from Winnipeg, Manitoba, but now I'm in Toronto.
That's pretty cool. Actually, I was Winnipeg when you were living there because my dad never really
Wow.
has any good words to say about it other than just being
Yeah, yeah, that was actually quite an extreme move for me because I was born in Indonesia, so moved there when I was like for university. And then yeah, it was I think it was like 2004 or something. And then like kind of that winter was like there's like one day it was like minus 60 like with the wind chill. So coming from the country that doesn't have winter, it was quite a move. But it's good. I mean, people are friendly, and so everything's good there.
Needless to say, the winter probably traumatized you because you're going
Yeah.
from like tropical sort of weather of Indonesia to like the cold, frosty north. So
Oh yeah. Definitely, my Canadian friends at the time, just they like to do some pranks, like kind of just telling like kind of all this like random crazy story, and then like which are not true, but but hey, I survived. So
do that, they pulled pranks doing like the whole thing. They just dropped a bunch of snow on you when you walked out the front door. And everything. So,
yeah. And
that
sorry,
gets
where
good.
where are you based on again, if I may
I'm,
ask?
ac- I'm actually based out of Pittsburgh, PA. I'm actually not too
Oh,
far from Toronto. It's about a
okay.
5 hour drive. So,
Oh yeah.
and I've actually been there twice. And
Oh
let's see.
okay.
First time it was me and my dad. We just drove up to see the Hockey Hall of Fame and we just walked around and just really just
Yeah,
had fun. So yeah.
yeah.
The second time it was actually family wise. And we actually did a trip through Saratoga. I forget which route it is, but it would take you to Montreal. And then we worked our
Okay.
way back down through
Yeah.
Toronto. Some Gananoque. That's what I was trying to remember the one time we stopped in briefly. Gananoque. And Toronto was last stop, and then that's pretty much how we got home afterwards there too. So I guess how you been recently? What's new?
Uh, s- so far so good. Just like in the music wise is just trying to like kind of work on some stuff. Baking, making, writing some songs, and then like slowly, little by little, just trying to record it and stuff like that. Recently, just released, but maybe but almost 2 weeks now that I released like kind of my latest single. It's called "Let's Say Goodbye," which is a power ballad. Um, yeah, aside from that it's a little bit hectic because just like we are in the me and my wife in the process of moving to a new house, so we're like kind of start packing a little bit. So
I would say that explains a lot with the whole scenery around you too.
but yeah.
Hey, that's all good there too. I got to elaborate on your music here in just a little bit, but first off, Harry, I want to welcome you to my podcast right here. And the ways it's going to work is just going to ask you some questions. Let's get to know you more, both as the musician, but also as the individual as well too. So, you got time to study? Okay, I'll take that as yes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Those are three. It's about to be like, are you ready? That sort of thing.
Yeah. Yes.
It's almost like fight.
Yeah. Just like kind of things just like kind of clutter in front of me, so I'm just anyway clear now.
All right, you're all good. Okay. For first question here, I guess let's get to know you in general. So, I guess
Yeah.
who are you, and how did you become a musician?
Yeah. So I'm Harry. I'm the only member of Sacred Stone. It's originally like meant to be like my solo thing, and then my 9 to 5 is like actually scientist, but at night I'm a musician with very bad procrastinating issues. And yeah. So and then how I become musician is basically, and when I was in high school, I really drawn to guitar, and then like really wanted to play guitar, and then of course the first thing that your parents do is like putting you into classical music class, and then turn out I'm a very bad student in there. So it's because you have a guitar, you want to rock and roll, right? And then so I start like kind of mostly like kind of self-taught, and I like pick things from here and there, and then and then get my electric guitar, and then just like kind of really loving it, and then start finding people to form a band, starting with like open mic and stuff like that. And then actually my first band that I like what do you call it, like where I gather all the people myself is I met my drummer and my bassist from Kijiji. so and then we were called Harden, and then I basically like gonna do the similar thing. I play the lead guitar and the vocals and then write the music there, and then of course I moved to Toronto. So and then basically COVID hits, nobody meets anybody, and then I just start like kind of learning how to produce my music and then start releasing like whatever that I've been writing.
It's funny when I went about classical music because I actually used to be a cello player way back in the day.
Oh wow!
And unfortunately, when I had to go off to college or university, depending on which one you use,
Yeah.
they didn't have a strings program, so
Yeah.
it's kind of a bummer. So unfortunately, it sat around collecting dust for a good while too. So eventually, we were able to sell it. But I guess which string instrument were your parents trying to get you in, or I guess what instrument in general?
Actually, yeah, my parents are not really musically inclined. I'm probably the only one in the family, in the core family, and also the extended family that really play a musical instrument. I think my late grandma used to play piano, but I think somewhere along the line, like she stopped and then just don't have the piano at the home anymore. So I pick up guitar and then just like basically like never stop. Really, just it's like kind of really like like it's just a meditation for me in a way.
Well, I guess let's try jumping into the group a little bit here too. But I guess so. It's pretty much just you, right? You're just the one that's flying solo, just doing this whole thing called Sacred Zone.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, just like do everything like kind of from recording, like kind of playing the instruments. I mean, aside from drums, like kind of because obviously if you hit the drums really hard, like kind of you're gonna end up like kind of with piece of neighbors. So not doing that. And then for the recording purposes, it's also like quite easier to get a cleaner sound with the programming, like kind of just program in the drum. So that's the only thing. But yeah, I do the all the like kind of adult instruments myself. I do the vocals and then also the mixing and mastering it myself. And yeah, basically.
I guess how'd you come up with the name too? Because I think most people see Zone. Anytime with Zone, I think I immediately think of the show Archer, where you make fun of the song Danger Zone. It's like,
oh yeah.
Through the danger zone.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's the inspiration, but how'd you come up with Sacred Zone?
I mean, it's to be honest, you're really trying to find a name that is like unique and kind of represent in a way like what this whole thing means to you, right? And then like kind of when you start putting things in Google or like kind of even Spotify, it's quite hard to find like a unique name, especially like the one that you thought it was cool and then it's already been taken by somebody else, or like or other business that you're like, well, I don't want to get mixed up with this, like other things. It's going to be really confusing, especially with publishing issues and stuff like that. So but Sacred Zone is just happened to be like, oh, perfect, like, and I think not a lot or like almost like nobody has it, and then it's also represent like it's like what I'm trying to convey, like when I play music, it's like kind of my sacred area, it's like kind of my safe area, my safe zone kind of thing. So hence the name works perfectly. And then the next thing I'm just like tinkering like kind of with the with the symbols that some like kind of just mix up of like kind of different, like maybe I think like it was like an alchemy symbols that like oh, that looks cool, and then like then you have something that easy to remember, I guess.
Yeah, that's for sure too. Actually, I was trying to think of something funny too, because it seems like when you come down to the studio, first of all, I think, is this more of a man cave you got going on here, or what was?
Yeah, I guess it's really like a basement with like that I just like kind of put all my equipments actually, like, and if you see that thing is like Isofox is basically a vocal box, because I'm actually sitting next to the boiler room and it's actually turning on. It's not a very friendly recording like environment. but luckily, like and like for the amps and stuff like that, it doesn't really pick up. But yeah, but this is basically my music area. Behind is actually some of the speakers and PA unit that actually I how do you call it? I split with my old band, and then like when I left, and they just like just take it with you. I was like, oh sure, I'll just like it's a good it's a good like a decoration as well. So and it still works. So
It's what it boils down to. I mean, pretty much, if it still works, it
yeah.
still works. But
Yeah.
that's God. We just ask, does it still work? That's all we need. So
Except cannot do that at the house in the middle of midnight, because that thing is like it's crazy loud.
I guess so. Actually, are you in like a real tight neighborhood? Because when I was in Toronto, it was always like you had like so many like apartments, which are like towering, almost skyscrapers, for instance. Too.
Oh yeah. That would be like downtown Toronto. Like I'm a little bit on the like area that's just like outside the downtown. Of course, coming from Winnipeg, Manitoba, when there's not as much of people like coming to downtown, like a culture shock when there's like a lot of people. So luckily, I'm not exactly there, but so then I have some space.
Actually, I was going to say it was probably a good thing you stayed away from downtown last night because. Are you a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, or I guess did you enjoy any hockey when you were in Winnipeg?
Wow. I mean, I know a little bit about hockey. Well, maybe not too much. And I used to be involved in some of the like hockey polls with my friends, but I absolutely know nothing. I won one of the poll, like, and I don't know how one time. So, but yeah. Now if you ask me like who I'm rooting for, like, and I'm gonna get a hater, like, regardless, because like for so long I live in Winnipeg, so I supposed to be rooting for like Winnipeg Jets, right? And then like apparently, or at least from what I hear, don't quote me on this, but everybody outside of Toronto, like, and they actually not a big fan of Toronto Maple Leafs, and then there's so many like jokes and meme about Toronto Maple Leafs, but please don't hate me. I'm just I'm not knowledgeable about this though.
Probably a good thing to jump on the knowledge train and know about hockey, to be honest, too, since it's like the next thing. It's a pretty big deal, to say the least. Let's just leave it at that. It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
But last night, and just to fill in the audience, Toronto lost in a heartbreaker to the Boston Bruins in overtime. Of all things, it bounced right off the board, right to David Pastrnak, and he just did a nice backhand and just took it right in. I was like, oh no! So I just knew. There was like showing people like a video of like all the people out there. They were like going crazy, and then like they scored when they scored the first goal, and then when Boston scored like 90 seconds later, they just went all silent, like no. So.
Yeah, that's exactly like the meme that you will find in Facebook, like about disappointing the fans since whatever year, kind of thing.
I mean, hey, they got a nice shot too, but right now your only hope is either Edmonton or Vancouver. So.
Yeah.
I think actually no, they got to face each other now, so that's going to be interesting. Love to see what happens. So I guess talk about your genre of music a little bit here too. So I guess what do you do with Sacred Zone?
So right now, like my focus really is rock music, like pop rock. I'm really influenced like by different era of like rock music, like whether it's 70s, 80s, like melodic rock, like hair metal, glam metal, and then like even like some 90s, like a little bit of like grunge. So yeah, like some things like have like hopefully like catchy, like things like with the catchy melodies, and then like right in your face like type of riffs, and then a solo is a must because I'm a guitarist and then I love solos. So yeah, because even before like before Sacred Zone originally, I was thinking like about doing just like all instrumentals, but you know what, this is quite fun to do like all these different things. So with the Sacred Zone, is the direction is really towards rock music.
So you do a lot of the classic rocks, like how traditional Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, all those guys were doing.
Oh yeah, definitely some of my influences right there.
I guess let's a couple other ones real quick because I have actually a separate question about how you got into it. So I guess who else influenced you?
My influenced me like in the term of like guitarist. Like well, my number one is probably always Steve Vai. It's like one of my favorite guitarists of all time. Joe Satriani and all those uh, how do you say that, shredders, I guess. And they in the term of like music, and I'm sorry, in the term of and other artists too, like Jimi Hendrix is definitely like one of my favorite all time, like Led Zeppelin, and then like in the 80s, like Bon Jovi, Mr. Big, those kind of like White Snake, those kind of like melodic rock, like kind of hair metal kind of thing. And then even like 90s, still really love my Soundgarden and then Alice in Chains. So it's quite a bit of influence. I mean, of course, like when I first do, I really like kind of like blues as well. Like and I listen to some jazz, but I'm a horrible jazz player. So.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about how jazz. It's a lot more deceiving than what it looks like too, because it's not just like simple 4/4. And you probably get it mixed up with blues a little bit too, but that's probably just me. But it's a lot more complicated than what you think it is. So
yeah. Jazz is definitely something like a different beast. Like a lot of improvisation, like and a lot of different like like kind of modes, changing modes, and like kind of passing notes and stuff like that. But yeah.
yeah. And you might have harped on this earlier, but I guess so. Who actually introduced you to like bands like Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, and all those guys? Was it because you say your parents weren't musically inclined, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, I mean, I just like kind of listen basically like kind of whatever like kind of on TV or like kind of what were famous at the time. I mean, I even listened to I was a big fan of Backstreet Boys at the time, and then I started like, I liking rock music more and more, and then so I started I think like when I was in high school, like Linkin Park was like big, and there was like I think like Korn was around, and then like I started listening, like in a way like back in time, like I start listening to Bon Jovi, and then like I started listening to Jimi Hendrix, and then I start listening to Led Zeppelin, and then go back again to the 80s, and then just basically just looking for it myself, and yeah, and then for whatever reason, like those kind of like kind of rock metal music are the one that really speaks to me.
Actually, as soon as you said Linkin Park, I immediately thought of the song "Cure for an Itch," where it just Mr. Hahn. That's that song.
Yeah.
There's a nice little instrumental he did on the Hybrid Theory album.
Yeah.
Was one where he got to really mess around with his craft, we should say.
Mm-hmm.
So, and rest in peace to Chester Bennington for Linkin Park too. So
what a great voice.
Yeah. I guess, did you also get into the thrash sort of thing when you were kind of looking back at the 80s music? I know you mentioned about glam metal.
Yeah, I mean I definitely listen to Metallica. Listen to Pantera, of course. I don't think I listen to much of the Slayer. I mean, I know some songs. I've listened a little bit to Megadeth, but I guess I kind of definitely like, and I listen to basically almost like anything. And prog metal progressive rock and progressive metal as well. Big fan of Rush and Dream Theater.
Yeah. Definitely the ones that are the most well-known ones in the prog scene too. So
Yeah.
I can see what you mean there too. So I guess here, jumping into this question right here, this one kind of delves into COVID here. So I guess, so were you in Toronto when COVID had hit?
Yes, I was in Toronto. Actually, I think it was only about a year after I moved to Toronto, then COVID hit. So it was quite quite an experience, I guess. You're new in the city and then haven't really had a chance to explore that much, and then suddenly like, well, nobody's getting out of their houses now.
Yeah. But I guess on a personal level, how bad did COVID impact you, your family and music wise?
Uh, I mean, in the term of like an personally, like in the term of keeping the roof over my head and then like having money to pay bills. Luckily, I still I had a stable job, so like and it's luckily that's fine. But yeah, mentally definitely like and you feel really isolated, and then you're always worried because my family like my parents were in Indonesia, right? So and then you were just trying to make sure like it's everything okay there because I believe they also got the vaccine a little bit or like way later than than a lot of places. And yeah, in the term of music, it was there is a good thing, there is a bad thing because like when I came to Toronto originally, I was like, okay, let's meet some people and then let's jam and then maybe form a band and then start playing live because I love playing live, right? Like and it's fun and then you connect with people, you make friends and stuff like that. But but definitely that the COVID hits and that just doesn't happen, right? And then I started to just like learn mostly like and it helped me to not procrastinate and actually learn how to use like softwares and then like like or like understand like and how to record, how do you produce and stuff like that. And then in a way like it's in some ways a blessing in disguise. So now I know like and how to how to actually produce music and then like and publish it properly in a way. So yeah, so yeah, I mean there's a good and then there is a bad, but I guess like and that's just like how life steers you in one direction.
Life has a funny way of doing that.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
let's see why. Like I said, did you have any brushes with COVID? Were you and your wife okay?
Yeah, like and luckily like we're okay. We've never really got anything, so phew. Yeah.
That's good to hear, and good to have you along for the ride there too. And I guess, are your parents doing okay? I guess, did they also move with you, or are they still in Indonesia currently?
They're still in Indonesia, so actually uh, I'm hoping they will immigrate one day. But I'm trying to I help them with the process of doing that. And yeah, I mean like and they are okay during the COVID. They they both got it, I believe, but luckily it was like after vaccine, so they never really got it that bad, except for losing like sense of smell for a while. But it came back. But yeah, but I think like one of my extended family is got it bad and then like went to ICU. But luckily, like they made it. So
That's good to hear. Actually, anytime you hear ICU, that's normally a bad sign. So.
yeah, it was yeah, it was quite scary, but yeah, so good thing.
Good to see you are doing well there too. That made good to have you around. So
Yeah,
and also blessings to your family and parents as well. So
yeah,
and then actually still sticking on the topic of COVID here too, because I think I forgot to ask like some of the people I have interviewed out of Toronto was like, how bad did COVID impact the music scene in general? I guess were you guys not able to do live? I guess a lot of bars closed down.
Oh yeah, like I think like I'm pretty sure like a musician was like gonna get hit really bad because even like I remember like having tickets to go like Harem Scarum and then like they were like in the best. I think they were based on Toronto too, and then like COVID hits basically like I guess like all the date got cancelled. And I'm pretty sure like kind of and then like kind of all the bars where like kind of these bands would usually play, and then like probably like kind of source of their income as well, like kind of just goes down. So basically, it's just like devastating. Like, and if you're like a full time musician too, like so yeah. Definitely nothing going on, like no gathering, no music scene, and nothing, if anything. Yeah, so
Yeah, it's kind of a shame too. Actually, I do remember when I was in Toronto how diverse it was as well too.
yeah,
There were actually a good amount of people out. I was actually make sure I try to get my years right as well because
yeah,
I did do some traveling here. But I think actually when me and my dad first came out, was either 2 years before COVID actually hit there too. So
yeah.
I would say the other thing too was the construction. That was kind of a pain in the rear end because I think that's right. I think we were staying at either Hampton or Hilton. It was one of those two. And right at one of the roads, there was I think it converged down into one lane too. So you're having everybody just getting ticked off here too because they're not being able to just get through like one light just to get to their destination. So it's a good infrastructure, but I mean, also at the same time, it's kind of a pain to deal with. So But I will say the second time that I was there, it looked pretty good. I mean, we went to some pretty good restaurants there too. Food was delicious. So I mean,
I mean, like this here, like I guess it's I guess in Canada in Toronto, it's like it's just a very diverse. I mean, Toronto is definitely very diverse area, like and a lot of community from like different countries. So like whatever like country's cuisine that you would like to try, I guess like it's probably there is probably somewhere to have it kind of thing. So but but the only issue is like when the restaurant is famous, then like some you can see like the lines just forming up and like people just waiting for like hours and hours, and I was like, I'm not getting into that.
It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
I understand. Okay. But here's to bright and better days ahead for Toronto and its suburbs. So let's see what.
Oh yeah.
But to get back on a fun topic here, I guess, because your gear's been kind of yelling at me the whole time here. I guess what kind of gear you got, both for recording and I guess do you do all your production right here in the man cave?
Yeah, basically. So in the term of the gear, it's just basically I got this very simple, actually Focusrite. Like another thing, it's just 2 channels kind of thing, and then I mean I got a little bit of a better computer, like just just to have everything processed better, and of course my on the background is you have like my guitars, as you can see, like it's a hobby that got a little bit out of hand. And of course my isofox box, because as I mentioned earlier that I'm recording actually next to the boiler room, so it's when they turn on, it's not a very recording friendly environment, especially with the what we call with the condenser microphone. So that's what I'm recording my vocals with, is a condenser microphone inside the isofox. And in the term of bass guitar, is I have a very I actually have a bass guitar that I got for free because my good friend in Winnipeg gave it to me on my birthday, and I'm still using it. So hopefully he's happy knowing that I'm actually using it for a good cause. And with just a small, I think it was a 15-watt bass amplifier, and like in the term of guitar, that's where that's where my most of my shopping is being done. So in the term of the guitars that I use, I'm a Ibanez guy. So like all my basically working electric guitars are like Ibanez. So I got like some like Japanese Ibanez, and then like they're like most like I think 2 of them is some humbucker, single humbucker kind of thing, and then always like that kind of like setup, because it just gives you like more choices of different sound kind of thing. And I have like one that's like kind of single humbucker, but I also have 7-string that I have yet to use in actual music. So because it stands to it has it's got a pickup like kind of upgrade like kind of recently, but the 7-string or 7-string in general, I guess it's tend to lend itself to more like kind of heavier music. It has like kind of very like kind of hot pickup. So I'm still thinking about like kind of what to do with that. But gears is basically I have what do you call that? I have a tube amp that I'm using, just like kind of basically just I don't really use the what do you call it, modeler or anything like that. I just like it's very simple, just a microphone, like dynamic microphone, straight to the speaker part of the amp. So I'm using a Victory amp V30, which is, I think it used to be called the Countess or something. Now it's called like the Jack. It's very versatile and one of the best money I've ever spent. And yeah, and then I have an old Carvin Nomad, which is also a tube amp, but it's kind of funny because when I bought it, I think like I bought it, and then a couple years later, I think Carvin amp like kind of went bankrupt. So I was like, kind of where I'm gonna get my spare part now. So, but yeah, but that's basically cover it, and then like basically a bunch of like analog pedals that usually guitarists will have a collection of those. So I'm also the same. So I just kind of have some analog pedals, but I tend to not use that often.
It's a good thing you got that amp right before they go bankrupt too, because I guess they don't want to have a return policy on the end of the year.
yeah. But I mean, it's a well built amp. I mean, like it's I think Carvin is a pretty good, like, kind of they sell things like I guess like kind of their stuff are pretty good. That they're well built, and then they also like quite economical. The only thing is like I'm kind of a little bit disappointed because of course when they went bankrupt, they don't sell. I think they came back now, like, but they mostly just selling like PA system and stuff like that. But obviously they don't really sell the Steve Vai like signatures amp anymore. And then you were like, oh, like I want they look cool, and then I want one, and it sounds cool too. But they only sell the basically like just the preamp box. Now that's mostly like that's what they sell is PA system and like preamp box.
I can see why. All right. Also, it's more than just a hobby when you are collecting more than 3 guitars, to be honest. Yeah. So, actually, I do know some drumming buddies of mine who pretty much got rooms like stacked full of like various drum sets, which is like stacked one on top of the other. So,
yeah,
it's more than a hobby. It's definitely more of a collection. You're becoming a collector at that point too.
Yeah.
I think that the dangerous word afterward is hoarder, but I don't think we reached that point yet. So,
yeah, that's why I was like, and always trying to be sensible to like, not to see like, and if I can find like a good quality second hands too, like, and that's helpful for the wallet.
Yeah, that's for sure. And did you mention what your DAW is that you use for recording?
The DAW. I'm using Reaper.
You're a Reaper guy too.
Yeah. I mean, I used to have a Sony asset. I think. Let me see. Oh yeah. There you go. I think I used to have this. Very, very old, but it was, let's just say, there's not a lot of forum or like resources to to actually like learn it, and it's not very user friendly. So, and then I found out about Reaper, and then like, okay, this is much better because you have other people that actually use it, and there's actually troubleshooting forums. So because for people who record, they probably know how how difficult it is to get things set up, and then like troubleshooting like why things not working.
It's very much the way Guy described it too. Is like desperate times call for desperate measures.
Yeah.
And it's surprising how much, because a good amount of my interviews I've had, people have said they use Reaper a lot more like Logic, a couple of Abletons actually, and then maybe only 1 or 2 people who were using like Pro Tools.
Yeah, because I think it's Pro Tools is a little bit that's the one that kind of tied to I'm audio like historically. So like, and if you have the Pro Tools, you have to like have the hardware by certain company. I couldn't remember, but I know like kind of some people, there are some people in the community that was asking each other like, what DAW that you guys are using, and then like I guess the Reaper is often come as the suggestion because aside from it's actually you can like kind of do I guess professional level thing in there. It's also pretty economical. It's actually not very expensive too. So I guess I've seen like some people like can actually like either like changing to Reaper or like trying to change or like kind of considering about changing to Reaper or something like that. But
I can actually say why. I know Ableton. I think it was about $400 to be honest. I know actually if you had an Apple computer, you're
yeah.
able to get Logic, and that's only like $200. So I thought that was like the cheapest one you could possibly get there too. So it might vary in terms of prices, but I'm not too sure how much Reaper really costs. So, and I think the funny thing is like whenever people were like looking for, let's just say top 10 of like best DAWs to look at, I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it'll be in the list. But I think a lot of people look at like the top five.
Mm.
Like, oh, that's probably what I need too.
So yeah. Is it like you said Appleton? Like is it like a lifetime license, or is it not really? Like, do you have to buy a new version again or something like that?
Mm, I think the way it kind of worked is I think when you get new computers, you want to make sure you're able to save it to an external hard drive and make sure
Oh
you transfer it over.
yeah.
But I think it was when you first buy it, then you got it. It's yours to do with as you
No.
please.
Yeah.
At least that's what I thought too. So I mean, I could be wrong, but
Yeah.
hopefully we keep it that way because it's my main tool for drum covers.
Yeah. I just I kind of find out the other day. Actually, pretty recently, I was like, oh, because Reaper always, when open, like, updates available, I think like all the software is there too. But I guess my latest update, like, and I think it's 2 generations away now, like a two or like only two generations compared from like my last version. So it's so now you have to buy again. So I guess I think it's every like like 7.1 7.2 it's fine, but now like and if you get to 9 or whatever the number is, I couldn't remember, but then you have to buy it again if you want to upgrade it to there. So okay, maybe shouldn't have clicked that upgrade button instead.
Something like that. I'm not too sure, but I don't want to jinx it. So we'll see what happens. So the next question here, in terms of like when you're composing a song first, do you normally do lyrics first and then the music, or vice versa?
I usually do music first because oftentimes it's either like just have some melodies like kind of just playing in my head, or like I would or oftentimes would be just I was just noodling around and I just like, oh, that's a cool riff, or like that's a cool melody, and then I start trying to build from there, and then like kind of try to like kind of maybe finish a composition, or like kind of have a draft composition, and then like think about the theme and then like the words later. And honestly, usually like as I mentioned, like I'm a procrastinator too. So because it turned out like kind of writing lyrics is a little bit more challenging for me. So I kind of like always leave it until like the last second in a way.
Yeah, I think everyone I've interviewed, they've always done like music first, and then lyrics come second. So I guess it's because it's a lot more easier than to like fit the lyrics into the song.
Yeah.
You can kind of see why there too. Sometimes actually, if you are just like starting off, you might have like a song idea, maybe like a poem or something like that too, where you feel like you can just fit right into it. So
Sometimes
maybe that's like a starting point.
Yeah. Sometimes if you can like kind of sometimes you can sing it kind of thing, like, oh, there's a melody, and like, well, yeah, that's kind of like a lucky thing that okay, now I can I can build the music around it, and then just like kind of feel the lyrics. But usually even that's just like kind of partial of the lyrics, and then I gotta know what the song first before I put any words to it.
That's true. So I can see why.
Yeah.
And I guess do you do any instrumentals with some of your music, or is it every single song you've released so far you have some sort of lyric to it?
No, actually, I've released one song that is instrumental. It's actually my second release. It's called Treasured Moments. So it's actually it's funny because I originally didn't really think that's originally for Sacred Zone, but at the same time, you know what, it's still kind of like on a similar style, because so that's why I just released it. So it's just instrumental. I kind of start with the acoustic guitar and then just build up to more electric guitar. So that song is also released because it's a little bit something that's a little bit special to me. So I wrote that song. It's actually for my wife, and then we use it for our wedding ceremony actually. So and then I was just, you know what? Now it's in the public, so like people can hear that too.
Does your wife help out every now and again, or she has some sort of part in like every song?
I mean, She hasn't really like got involved in any of any of my music project. Behind me is like actually her piano, so she sometimes play piano, but she's more like I think like a classical kind of thing. So like read the music sheet and then just play kind of thing.
It's always good to kind of
Yeah, as
diverge and
opposed
get to
to
do something different.
yeah. I was like, I don't have any patience for like learning to read music sheet and stuff like that. And that explains why I ran away from my classical guitar class.
It's almost like a PTSD maybe sort of thing going on right there. So I don't know.
Like, nope, don't do that.
But I guess in terms of your lyrics too, I guess what do you normally write about in terms of what your lyrical content covers?
It depends on the. I guess it depends on the mood and depends on what the music dictates. Really, it can be about love. It can be heartbreaking. It can be like but like facing whatever like happens in life. But it's really depends. Like, and I'm trying to. One of the thing that I sometimes do is try to put myself into a different character, and then like I'm a character in this kind of story, and then like you kind of like try to build a story around it. Sometimes it's also like from like a more personal experience, so it's really depends on like what the music or like for some like what when I creating riffs, for example, like what how that makes me feel, and then the lyrics hopefully will come.
Inspiration comes in odd places at times too. So
Yeah,
in the same way.
yeah.
Normally, some of the lyrics I got from like some of the collaborations I did was like from inspirations of like video games I've done.
Oh yeah.
I was real big into like a Tomb Raider way back in the day. So.
Oh god, I'm really bad at that game.
Well, actually, that was actually a PS1 version too. So like once you at least got the fun combinations down, it was at least a lot more easier to do. So and I don't know which other ones I would cover at some point, but I think I might actually cover like the Resistance games, and then maybe get into God of War maybe at some point.
Yeah.
I think about it. I got actually to do 2 more songs so I can cover 1, 2, and 3 of Tomb Raider. So gotta see what happens. So make sure you all stay tuned for that one. So
for sure.
I guess in terms of challenges first, I guess first of all, how much of a challenge was it when you first immigrated to Winnipeg?
Challenges in the term of life. I don't know. I was I was pretty young, and it just like just basically just I guess roll with it kind of thing. So it's like I just like try to have fun, and then like make friends, and then never really that nothing like really like super like crazy difficult or anything like that. Of course, well, okay, maybe aside from the winter, that's sometimes like that reach like minus whatever, and
Well, yeah.
and the some confusion, like I guess culture shock, maybe like some confusion about things like price in the store, like oh, you have to add like tax to it, so like the price is not actually the price, and then like but you have to actually like, oh okay. So things like that. But other than that, it's luckily everybody that I've met has been like friendly and supportive. Like there is like this one time I was still live in the dorm, and then one time I was I think making a mistake like in my homework or something like that, like my I didn't do citation or something like that, and then like the entire floor just like there's one my friend just like wake up the entire floor, and then like just like trying to help me like to make me understand what is this thing. I was like I don't know that, I didn't know that. So but so far yeah, like it's lucky that I've met great people, and then they just like being supportive, and then so it's always been fun. So
That's actually very good to hear. Yeah. I guess there is some hope for humanity after all. So
yeah.
that's all good.
Yeah.
I would have thought more of like, doing a culture shock would be the first thing too. Because actually, what university was it in Winnipeg that you were attending?
University of Manitoba.
Was Manitoba, okay.
Yeah. Right. There's University of Manitoba, and University of Winnipeg, the other one. I think University of Manitoba is like kind of the bigger campus kind of thing, and then they often have like kind of competition with each other, like like sports competition, like basketball and like or like sports and football and stuff like that. And then it's some of the T-shirt or like on a shirt that the University of Manitoba students can be quite mean, but I think it's for just a good fun. Like, and I think like, and I saw somebody wear like a shirt saying like kind of like I rather like kind of get a roundhouse kick in the face by Chuck Norris rather than go to University of Winnipeg or something like that. Or like friends don't let friends go to University of Winnipeg. So so I mean, but they are friends with each other. No bloodbath or anything like that.
Always need a little bit of a rivalry here. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. But for the other challenges too, I guess, what challenges do you currently face being a musician?
Really, like one is trying to balance, like, and try to actually have time to sit down and then do all different like kind of aspects of this music, like, and because when like I said, from the 9 to 5, like, and that's I didn't realize when coming to this, like. It's not just about writing, recording, finishing, and publishing the music, but a lot of it is really like also making sure to tell people like, kind of, hey, I'm releasing this, or like social working with the social media, connecting with other people as well. It's surprisingly enough, the social media is probably one of the things that take the most of time, and then that's kind of quite quite challenging in a way. And I mean, like, and I know how to use Facebook and whatever those other social media, but like kind of, but this is very different than usual, just like kind of hanging out with your friends kind of thing. So, but so far it's like, yeah, it's challenging, but it's been really great because that's also how I met so many great people, like, and I made so many friends from like different countries. And then like I even have I even did collab with a friend of mine. His what they call it, his artist name is I'm sorry if I say this not correctly, but either Ilucidi or Ilucidi, but he does more like an EDM type music. So, and he's from Sweden. So, and like we did one of the song that was released is like, actually he did a remix of one of my song, Take Me Higher. So, and so yeah, so it's been really great meeting all these different people in the community, and they are so supportive too.
Good to have friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially ones who definitely wanted to remix your own song, for instance. So.
Yeah. And it's kind of a little bit like kind of it's a little bit kind of challenge you a little bit, because now, like, like with my friend, like I Lucidi, like he's totally from a different types of music, and then like, but it's in a way it's kind of like introduce you at a different perspective, and then you learn things like, and you kind of learn new things in the process as well, which has been quite really interesting too. So
that's pretty cool. And I guess I know you mentioned earlier about playing live first. Have you played in any venues, bars, or anything in Toronto?
In Toronto, I have with my friend. So basically, I think he has like he has a solo thing, and then he also has like a duo or trio thing, kind of. And then, but basically, like at the time they were needing a guitarist, so I was like, I'm free. I mean, if you need my help. So, and then I play in a bar like for him. So yeah, so I've played there before, and I played in Toronto before, so it's still fun.
So they gave it a go ahead. You were like, score.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, good. Like, coming out from the COVID, like, and hey, I want that. Great to connect with people again, and then actually play with like real people around you. It's a little bit different feeling as opposed to recording and doing your music, because it's almost like you're just doing things yourself. It's like it's you don't have that live feed of real life people, right? So and that's kind of the energy is a little bit different. The feeling is different.
Yeah, I
And
can see
which
why
is and which is like that's really like what I enjoyed, like, or like in a way some things that you miss from playing live is like you kind of like feel the energy of like people around you, not just like your band member, but like kind of the audience too. Like you can see when they're excited, and then there's also like like kind of excites you. So
Yeah, there's always something about getting the crowd pumped up too. So
yeah.
not too sure how much of a crowd pumper you really are though, but I guess try to get them hyped too. You always like,
Yeah.
right, I try something like that. So if I was doing like guitar or something, maybe I would probably be doing that too. I think it was just vocal wise. I think I'd be doing a little bit more. So what Corey Taylor does with Slipknot, whenever he's at every show. So that's pretty cool nonetheless. And for social media wise, I guess first off, what social media are you on?
So I'm in the usual suspect: Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And then what is that? The other one that Instagram has, the thread.
Threads.
Yeah, threads. I just recently uh, made my Bandcamp account. So I'm still a little bit bare, but so I probably should start announcing it soon. But yeah, I just made that. And what else? Let me double check if I forget anything. But
Do you use like DistroKid or CD Baby to kind of distribute your music?
so like DistroKid, is my distributor. And yes, so obviously Spotify, and basically like in any of you can find me in any others, in all of streaming platforms. iTunes, Tidal, Deezer. And the funny thing is, even in Tencent apparently, because I have some, like my in-laws are in China, and then so it's kind of funny because they cannot access like YouTube or Spotify or like things that we use, right? So and then but they have Tencent Music, like, well, I mean, DistroKid say they publish it to Tencent Music, and then I was like, but I cannot access Tencent Music from Canada. And then like they take a screenshot. Yes, you are here. Like, oh, okay, I guess I'm in China as well. And so, but yeah, that was quite funny actually. So
Even though I think kind of scary at the same time because I know China's always a little strict about what can come in, what can come out, that sort of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
I don't know. Actually, your in-laws, that's from your wife's side. Actually, which part of China were they from?
My wife is from Xi'an, so that's my geography is not very good, but I think it's maybe it's a little bit. No, actually, I wouldn't talk about the direction just because I'm very bad with direction, but it's where the terracotta warriors are.
Hmm.
So because that's the that's the best experience. Like, that's the first thing. Like, oh, we visit your hometown, we gotta see the terracotta warriors.
Hey, I'm pretty bad with geography there too, so I'll take your word for it. Oh, we'll Google it afterwards. So we'll see what happens. Okay. But in terms of social media, I guess first off, are you part of the group Band Together?
Yes, I am.
I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
so. When did you join, and what sort of advice would you give to musicians in our community?
So, advice is basically one is definitely enjoy what you're doing. I mean, like, and then obviously like get to know, or like get to know to as many people as you can. Like talk to people in social media, and or like give them shout out, or like even just say hi, because it's in a way like it's really fun. Like you're meeting like this different artists, different great people that like also like can become your friends, and then at the same time you will get inspired from like different things that they do. So basically like you just do it, get your music out there, like connect with people, and then just enjoy the ride.
Steady as she goes, like the repertoire song, for instance. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, when did you join Band Together?
When?
Yeah, when?
Oh, I believe if I'm not mistaken, it's probably sometime last year. Um, I couldn't remember the exact date because when I start this Sacred Zone project, it's not even like exactly a year, I think. So it's starting like I believe it was sometime like in the last summer, so it might be like in the less than a year since I joined Band Together.
I think what's so weird about it is after I got introduced to it, it seemed like finding like other groups like EWL, Duke's Podcast, Mama's Maiden Studio was another one. I'm pretty sure they've always like been there, but it's almost like it seemed like because of what Vox stick to, it seemed like it brought in all those guys as well.
Oh yeah. It's kind of funny because you're connected, so I think like some of my first friend that I met is like Drunk and Lonely, and then Spiralim, and all this Ilu City, and then I have this area, and then I think like EWL first met like Rain of Fire, and then some other people, and then like slowly little by little things just like start like connecting, and then now it's just like we are just like connected to each other, so it's like and it's kind of like amazing just to see like how like the community just like connected, and it just spread spread bigger and bigger each day.
Yeah, that's for sure. I don't know if we hit 8K yet, but I think we're at 7.5 recently. So
yeah, that's yeah, but great thing is like everybody is like it's like one of the most positive community ever, like, and everybody just no jerks in the communities that I've seen so far, so like they are very supportive, very nice people.
I think that would be the bots, that would be the jerks, so if you know what I mean. So, and I guess let's jump into this question right here, then we'll get to the fun ones afterwards. But recently in some of the interviews I've been doing, I've been bringing up the whole thing with AI, for instance, too. So first off, do you use AI for anything in terms of your art or music wise?
AI, no, I haven't yet. I think I've seen like or I assume there are like some drawings that I assume is from AI, but it looks like pretty cool. But yeah, I've never tried it. I probably should research it a little bit more. It may like lessen my load a little bit in the term of like generating cover images and stuff like that. So far I've been just doing like take a picture manually and then just trying to make it somehow like pleasing to the eyes.
Something like that.
Yeah.
It seems to be like one of those double-edged swords because that's the kind of same thing with social media too. But I guess what's really your opinion of using AI? Do you think it's kind of necessary for small artists, and maybe the bigger artists should kind of invest with like artists?
Using AI sorry, can you just like just clarify, just repeat the question or just clarify it so that just to make sure I get it correctly.
What happened recently was on the radio, one of the heavy metal bands named Deicide, and I'm sure there's been like others who've used AI. But Deicide came under a lot of fire because it's in their recent album release, they used AI for their album cover. So, and in some of my other interviews, people have been saying it is kind of like a double-edged sword. Like it's good for people who are like kind of like what we're doing, for instance, we're small indie artists. So it seems like either necessary evil or double-edged sword. So I guess what's your opinion on that?
I think I just I mean, I haven't really played with it that much, but for me, like, or at least it looks to me, it's just like a tool, like, like whether you use it, how you use it, it depends on you. But for some cases, like say like people like us, independent artists, that just have to do many different things on our own, and I think I can see it being helpful, and then I don't really think there is no need to like like say that, oh, it's bad, you shouldn't use it or something. It's just like a different tools that you can use, technology, right? I mean, it's just a different software, like and now you have, let's like just think like video editing software and like image editing software, like you already have compared to back in the days when you don't have very good software. Now you have a better software that can do more like this amazing thing. So it's basically, it's just a tool. So I mean, I don't really see like you really need to like, oh, this is a root of all evil or something like that.
I was gonna think it was gonna go that far, but I mean, I can't see why. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens next, either a couple months or maybe even a couple of years, and see what happens. So, I guess another thing too. I know you mentioned about TikTok earlier, and recently what happened in the States was they at least banned it, or at least until China allows like American company to take it up. I guess did Canada do anything similar, or I guess what's going on with TikTok?
Oof. Yeah, good question. I mean, I'm not super active in TikTok. I do have some posts, but I have heard some people are suggesting it, or like suggesting to follow what the US is doing in the term of considering about banning it, but I don't know. I mean, it's kind of weird because it's just a social media, and I think like another guys explain it pretty well, and it's uh, I mean, it's kind of hard because it's really seems to me too also like it's very tied into like the politics, which is I try not to like kind of really like like to delve too deep into politics and stuff like that, but some of the interview with the TikTok CEO, or at least like kind of from what I see, the clips are like kind of a little bit cringy, but like trying to really like put a dirt on him when there is nothing really, like like kind of they try to keep on labeling him like spy from this other country, which is I was like kind of I don't it's just kind of weird, but yeah, I don't know, like, and yeah, to me like, and it still seems to be like really an overkill because especially there's a lot of entrepreneurs or like business that use the TikTok for their marketing, and then it's gonna definitely affect them quite bad as well, right? So yeah, so yeah, I don't know, like, and it seems to me like it's something that's really like an overreaction, but
I don't know. China does some fishy business at times too.
yeah, I know that I know like, and China has their own like whatever that it's called, like, and it's definitely is like kind of their own version of TikTok. So TikTok is almost like a different like kind of brands kind of thing. But anyway, I'm not really a computer scientist, so I don't exactly know what's going on like aside from there. But yeah,
I guess we'll have to see what happens. So I guess
yeah,
here's to brighter days, hopefully. So we'll see what happens.
yeah. Hopefully, it's just like I don't affect like so many people, like or like like kind of creating problems with too many people, especially people that getting their incomes from there.
Too many problems in this world, so little time.
Yeah.
So yeah, see why. Okay. But Harry, we reached for the questions here pretty good. So let's go ahead and jump to the fun ones. Ready?
Okay. All right.
So for first the fun questions, I guess, what would you consider as your favorite food?
Oh, my favorite food. I like steak. Steak, yeah,
Steak
yeah. I'm like, I like meat, so steak probably like my favorite.
So you're much of a carnivore, digging into any sort of meats you get your hands on.
Yeah. Sorry, vegan friends.
Actually, I do remember, speaking of steaks, there was actually a really good steak we had at Gordon Ramsay's while we were down in Vegas.
Oh.
And I would say it's pricey as hell. It's going to burn a hole in your wallet. It's still very good, to say at least, too. But oh my gosh. I still feel bad. I still feel bad for my dad for having to pay for that dinner. So, all right. That was a good choice. And next one here, I guess, what would you say is your favorite movie?
My favorite movie. I really like the second movie of the Dark Knight trilogy, the one that has like Heath Ledger as the Joker and then Christian Bale as the Batman. I really like that movie.
So you and a good few others too, but yeah, that was definitely a good killer movie way back in the day too. So yeah,
yeah. That Joker is definitely something too.
I still felt so bad we lost Heath Ledger. I think he had passed right before it was released.
Yeah, right before it's like, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
he OD'd on, I think it was cold medicine because I guess he was battling a cold or something.
Ah.
Of all the things, too. I mean, the guy was a legend, too. I mean, he was good acting, too. I think it was A Knight's Tale that I saw.
Yeah, that was a great movie, too. Yeah.
I should have noticed it, too, but the other two actors, I guess, who were his sidekicks, was Mark Addy, who played Robert Baratheon in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And I forget who the second guy was, but he was actually Vision in the Marvel series. So,
okay, yeah, that's
the guy with the red face and the little diamond that was
Yeah.
kind of up in his head.
Yeah.
There,
Yeah, I couldn't remember who's the actor actually. Probably not familiar who's the actor was, but yeah, I know we're talking about. Yeah.
Actually, it was a good thing they did a meme about it too. So yeah, that was all good. So for the next question here, I guess first off, do you drink?
Not really, not anymore. I in the term of alcohol, I used to. I'm not. I'm I don't have a very good tolerance with alcohol, put it that way. But if you're asking like my favorite back in the days, like I like good stout, dark beer.
No, you kind of went that heavy, to be honest. Oh man. And then I guess it was about drinks too. But I guess what's your favorite non-alcoholic drink instead then?
The non-alcoholic drink is my soda water made at home.
I was gonna say that explains a lot. Otherwise, I thought that was just your technical water too, because I drink Pure Life here.
Yeah,
actually, I had a Coke. I had a Coke and a Minute Maid lemonade earlier too, so I'm practically dying of thirst right now. So.
Yeah, actually, I just bought this. I've been using SodaStream, but recently I just bought this machine that I still mostly just carbonate water, but that machine also carbonate tea and other things. So we just have a more sophisticated system that you can carbonate different things without things just like overflowing everywhere.
Actually, anytime I hear carbonated water, I think of mineral Wasser, which is it's a German word, technically for the same thing, carbonated water. So I actually made that mistake of getting it the one time, and not my cup of tea. So sorry. And for the last of the fun questions, I guess, what would you consider is currently your favorite song or a song you've been listening to a good bit recently?
Aside from my latest release, the one that I really like right now is this song called "The Healer" by Dino Jelusic. So it's I really like that song like when it first came out, and then and I think the album was the actual album came out pretty recently, and then and then you're listening the whole album again, and it's like, yep, I really like this song, and then you're back to listening it again. Yeah, and I guess I'm back to listening it again. So yeah, so "The Healer" by Dino Jelusic. It's a great musician, very great vocalist as well. So really one of my current probably favorite vocalists.
That's definitely new, but actually good choice. All right, I'll give it to you there. All right. So Harry, we've got it down to one more question right here, and I guess before we jump into it, did you have any questions for me? Any final words you want to say before we jump into it?
I think I'm good, and just really glad that you invite me to this very fun conversation.
I was just gonna say I found you on Facebook there. And you know what? I think it was just streaming, or I should say streaming, scrolling. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was scrolling through it. I think I just saw it, and I was like, "Oh, that's a cool name. Let's go click on it too." So I must confess, I thought the way sacred was, I kind of thought it was going to be sort of religious in a way. So that's too. But,
yeah, definitely. That was I didn't think that part through. And it does and now that you mention it, it can come out as religious, I guess. Whoops.
Coming to the religious zone right there. My Zen. do a little Zen and everything too. So but still cool nonetheless too. So hats off to you, mate. Okay. If you have no more questions here, we'll go and jump to the last one here. So given what COVID has done, obviously it seems like you and your wife have been pretty blessed, and same with your family as well there too. So for those musicians and people who perhaps were impacted by COVID or by anything else in their lives, what sort of message of hope could you give to musicians and people out there as we try to move forward in a post-COVID world?
I mean, let me just let me think for a second. I think hang in there, and then please continue doing what you love. Please continue doing, continue making music because like everybody loves music, and please, uh, just keep on doing what you're doing, and then I'm just hoping like kind of things. If you're like in a difficult situation, things will get better soon. So yeah, so just hang in there.
Want to pause a little bit. Let's make sure there wasn't anything else you wanted to add. But
Yeah.
and spoken like a true prodigy. So, okay. So, Harry, we reached the end of my podcast right here. We're just a little bit shy of an hour and 15 minutes. But I guess, did you have any final words? Any shout outs you want to give before we close?
So yeah, first of all, thank you to Brian for like inviting me, and make sure you also follow and like him in the social media, and then and of course like, and don't forget to follow me in the social media and Spotify as well. And then if you are an independent artist, join our independent musician community. It's a great place to uh, make friends, great place to like kind of know other musician, get inspired, and then even do collabs. So and then like and stay cool.
I would say stay hungry for thinking like D. Snyder. So,
And stay hungry too.
stay hungry, yeah. And just for the audience sake, can you just list your social media and streaming platforms you're on so they can check you out?
Yeah, so social media, Facebook, Instagram, Bandcamp, Thread, sorry, TikTok, and then and then in the streaming made in the term of streaming platform, I mean mostly in Spotify, but also in other streaming platforms like Deezer, Tidal, iTunes, and if you're in China, apparently I'm in the Tencent Music. So but that's yeah. So basically, in any streaming platforms, as you should be able to find me.
I think instead of threads, they just call it like treads, for instance, too. So,
Yeah, I keep on like kind of forgetting to say threads, but anyway.
like thread the needle. That's pretty much the thing that that's the guy stick out to. All right. But nonetheless, everyone, my guest today was Harry. He's hailing from up north in Toronto. He's part of the group Sacred Zone. And so make sure you go hit him up on the socials. Go check him out on all streaming platforms and everything, too. This guy's doing wonders out in the world, though, too. So, Harry, thank you again so much again for coming on. You stay safe out there. Rock on. Stay tuned, y'all.
Thank you.